Hi there, my name is Tamara. I am a co-producer and an interface designer for the Executioner project. And as you can see, I've been a little busy with the victim here. Let's get acquainted with the torture chamber because you're going to spend a lot of game time in this place. So you can see the portrait of the victim. There's a dossier and the questions that you need to get answers for. The first is always the confession, which you're going to need to make the execution legitimate, and some other questions if you get curious or if you want to progress the plot. Did he have any accomplices, were his relatives, and so on. And also the victim has two sets of stats, the physical and the mental one. As you can see, they are already lowered, and the victim is down 2 tiers in both the mental and the physical stat. In order to get those questions answered, you're going to perform certain actions that take up some time, and you have only 12 hours until the execution. So you're going to need to act fast and act smart in order to get those answers. So just to get us started, let's just ask a question and see if the victim's conditions, physical and mental, will permit us to get that answer. So we choose sign the confession and perform action. And in this area, you can see that the victim is into good physical condition and is not going to answer. So we need to lower that condition. And it also says that the victim's condition has changed, which means that while you were asking the question, the victim has recovered. So with this action, we haven't damaged the victim either physically or mentally, which means that both conditions have recovered to a certain extent. So let's get to our torture arsenal. Each action has certain parameters, like which of the victim's conditions it's gonna damage, like red crosses for the physical and blue for the mental. Each action is going to take some time. So as you can see, like torture with thirst is going to take quite a bit of time, and the three like battery, needles, and drowning will take a little time, but they have those little blue markers, which means that it will drain your sanity. And the yellow markers mean that the action will drain some of your stamina, which is indicated at the top of the screen. So let's start with some battery, I think, because we need to, as the previous screen said, we need to damage the victim physically. This particular action will damage the victim by 30 points. So let's do this. Okay, the victim's condition has changed. We've lowered them 1 tier physically, as we've intended, and let's just to be sure, do some needles under the fingernails, which will damage the victim mentally as well. Okay, so let's ask the question again, see if this is enough. Perform action. The victim is in too good a physical condition and is not going to answer. Okay, so let's go into the hardcore stuff. There's this little tab called atrocity and certain actions that you can perform. The little icons of the eye and the arm indicate traumas, so those actions will permanently change your victim's condition, in the way that a physical trauma will reduce the victim's overall physical capacity by 25%, and same goes for a mental trauma. So as you can see, the amputation, it damages the victim both physically and mentally. It traumatizes them with an amputation, obviously. But it also drains your sanity quite a bit. So the more severe, the more cruel the action, the more it drains your sanity. So let's try it. Okay, there's the trauma. The victim is down 2 tiers in both physically and mentally, and I think that would be enough for a confession. Let's give it a try. Okay, objective completed, we gain experience, the confession's signed, and again the victim's condition has changed since while you were asking questions, you weren't damaging the victim in any way. At this point, you could conclude this process, because the confession is really all you need to make the execution legitimate in the face, in the eyes of the crowd. But if you want to, you could also just go to the judge at any point, because maybe you don't want to torture the victim. The judge and the crowd, they won't be pleased that there is no signed confession, but there is that option if you want to. Okay, so let's try something else. We have other questions that we haven't answered yet, so let's try to intimidate our victim. It requires an assistant, so after the action's performed, the assistant will need some rest, as will you. We'll get to that in a bit. So let's find out where the gamekeeper's daughter is hiding. Okay, objective completed, experience gained, the location of the daughter is known. However, as you can see by the icon above, the assistant is unavailable at the moment, and your stamina is drained quite a bit, so you can't use an assistant at the moment, and you need some rest, and so does he. So let's go to support, perform the rest action, which will improve your own stamina as well. Okay, so you've rested, and in this particular case, it says that it's nice that the assistant is not in a condition to get you into trouble. This is something you need to look out for, because your assistant is a pretty sick individual, and sometimes while you're resting, or while you're not watching out for the victim while you're away, your assistant can sometimes do stuff to them without your consent or approval, and sometimes he might even kill the victim, which will pretty much make the whole torture pointless, and you can't get a confession out of a corpse, which will make the judge angry and the crowd angry and so on. So just look out for that guy. So now that you've both rested, you can send your assistant to fetch the victim's relative, whose location we already know. Assistant needed, takes no time, takes none of your time anyway. So that's done. And while you wait, you can do something else. You can get the third question answered, or do whatever you like. So that's how this process works, essentially. And even if it seems easy at first, at least with this particular demonstration, just keep in mind that this victim, the gamekeeper, is the first one that you get in the game. And as the game progresses, both the victims will get more challenging, They will have certain quirks or personality traits that will make it harder for you to torture them. For example, it's hard to torture someone who looks and behaves in a very innocent way, because it's very easy to empathize with those people. Or some people are very tough and it's really, really hard to get a confession out of them because they can endure a lot of pain. But also your own arsenal over time will expand. You'll get new techniques, new skills, new ways to basically torture, maim, and inflict a lot of pain on people. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little demonstration, and if you have, support us on Kickstarter. Tell your friends if they enjoy horror games about the executioner, and have a great day. Thanks.